Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, Miss.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
And you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Okay. For the first, I will check your attendance list. Ahmad Miftahul Ulum,
Present.
Tia Umami,
Present.
Novi.
Present.
Okay. Before we start our class, let's pray together. Enough. Anyone knows about our material last meetings? Please. Okay.
Descriptive text
What is descriptive text?
is a text that describes something or someone.
Okay, good job. Last meetings we learned about descriptive text. The text which says about the character of something or someone. And now we will learn about narrative text. Okay, you can open your gadget to search about narrative text. All about narrative text. I will give you 3 minutes. Okay, enough?
Yes.
Anyone knows about narrative text? Okay,
Miss,
please.
narrative text is text to amuse or entertain the people or the reader.
Okay, good job. Why we must learn about narrative text? Because narrative text is story that include a moral value, and we can retelling the narrative text for the other person. So we will get the moral value from narrative text. So we will learn about narrative text in this occasion. Okay. I will give you some of the form what will we learn today about narrative text. Narrative text. For the first, we will learn about definition of narrative text. Seems with Mas Ulum's statement, if narrative text is a text that the purpose is to amuse and to entertain, but the specific definition is narrative text is a text that have a specific characteristic and use some language features, also have some generic structure. And the purpose is to amuse or entertain the reader. After we know about definition of narrative text, now we will learn about language features in narrative text. Narrative text, same with the other text, seems like descriptive text, recount text. Narrative text also have some language features, that is, use past tense, direct speech, and specific character. I will tell you one by one of these language features after this. Now, after we know the language features of narrative text, we will learn about the generic structure of narrative text. Now, generic structure of narrative text, there are 4 generic structure for the first. That is for the first paragraph. That is orientation. Then complication, resolution, and reorientation. And about the types of narrative text, it can be factual or imaginative. And for the example of narrative text, like legend, myth, fairy tales, and others. Okay, for the first, we will learn about language features of narrative text. That is past tense. Past tense. I believe that you have learned about past tense in junior high school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The form of past tense. Anyone knows? Please. Okay. The form is subject, verb 2, and object. Subject, verb 2, and object.
Yes.
For the
Positive.
negative, for the positive sentence is subject, verb 2, and object. For the negative sentence is did.
Subject.
Subject, did not, and object. The difference is we need to add did not or does not. Do not, did not, or does not. For the question sentence, did is changed in the first, subject, and object. For the example, there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella. A beautiful girl named Cinderella. A beautiful girl become a subject, named is verb 2, and Cinderella is the object. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, understand.
That is the first language features are about past tense. In a narrative text, we use past tense because the story of narrative text is in the past, not now or in a future. So narrative text use language features that is past tense. And about direct speech. Direct speech is directly. So the example is like Snow White say, if I am is the pretty girl, like that. Seems like the dialogue in the story. That is called directly speech. And specific character. Specific character is like the writer will give the specific character, like in the story of Cinderella, the writer will write Cinderella directly right, didn't use the other person to describe Cinderella, but the writer will directly use Cinderella or the name of the character in the story. Okay, that is the language features of narrative text. There are past tense, direct speech, and specific character. After we know about the language features, we will know about the generic structure of narrative text. There are 4 generic structure of narrative text. For the first, in narrative text, usually have 4 paragraphs. For the first, that is orientation. This is the first paragraph that mention the name of the character in the story. Seems like one day there is a beautiful girl named Cinderella. That is included in orientation. After orientation, that is complication. In complication, that is the problem in the story is developed. One day, there is an invitation from the king of the country, but stepmother and stepsisters of Cinderella didn't allow Cinderella to come to the party. That is complication, the problem of the story. For the next, resolution. Nah, resolution is the solve of the problem. If someone asks to you what is the resolution of the Cinderella story, you can answer with when the good fairy comes and allows Cinderella to come to the party, and she gives Cinderella gold and shoes and a glass shoes. That is the resolution. So, how the problem is solved, that is called resolution. And for the last paragraph, it's called reorientation. This is the conclusion of the story. The last paragraph of the story, that is the conclusion. Seems like, and finally Cinderella and the prince happy ever after. That is called reorientation. After we know about the generic structure, we will know about types of narrative text. The types of narrative text can be factual or imaginative, or can be both. And the example of narrative text and the kind of narrative text is legends, myth, fairy tales, etc. Okay? Any questions, please?
Miss, can you give example of the fairy tale story?
Oh, okay. About example of fairy tales. I will give you an example of all of the example of narrative text. For the first, legends. The example of legends seems like the story of Tobalik, Maling Kundang, Tangkuban Perahu Mountain, and the others. Myth tells about the abilities that can't approved by our logic. Seems like the abilities of Dewa Brahma from the story of Ramayana. That's include the power of the character that can't approve in our logical. No, then fairy tales. Example of fairy tales like Cinderella, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, Rapunzel. Nah, that is the kind of the example of definition. That is good questions, and we can know more specific about the example of definition of narrative text. Thank you for the questions. Any others? Okay. Now, can you make a group and discuss about our material today? All of about material today. You can go forward. Some of you or one of you can be a volunteer to go forward to explain what that we learned today about narrative text. Okay, please, I will give you some minutes.
Okay.
If any questions, you can ask. Okay, enough?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, please, one of you be a volunteer to go forward.
Okay, based on our material today about narrative text, we discuss about we can conclude of the material. First, the definition of narrative text. Narrative text is text to tell about a moral value of story or life. The purpose is to entertain or amuse the reader. For the next is language feature. Language features here is past tense, adverb of time, and next specific character and direct speech. Next generic structure. For the generic structure is orientation, complication, resolution, and the last is reorientation. The purpose, yes, to amuse or entertain the reader or people. And next, types of narrative text. There are types, can be imagined or factual or combination of both. And the last is example of narrative text. The first one is legends, like legends. Legend is like Tobalai, and the next is myth, Ramayana, and the last is fairy tales. Okay, I think that's enough from us.
Oh, okay, good job, Mas Ulum. Okay, give applause for Mas Ulum. Okay, same with Mas Ulum conclusion about our material today. Let's tell about the definition of narrative text, language features, generic structure, purpose of narrative text, and types of narrative text, and the last is example of narrative text. I think that is clear because you have discussed and one of you become a volunteer to re-explain about our material. So far, any questions? This is the last question and answer session.
No.
Okay. Okay, please now open page 24.
24.
Okay, please learn about recount text and we will discuss it next meeting. Okay,
Miss.
thank you for coming and thank you for your nice attention. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.